from Ohio.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to dispense with the quorum call.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I want to start by thanking my friend from Georgia who just gave us some great memories about Dick Lugar, one of the truly great senators who served here in the last half century, a friend and someone who so many of us look up to. One thing he did, which is special to Ohio, is become totally devoted to his college, Denison University. He served on the board until his death, and he was the longest serving board member ever, I'm sure, and not only served on the board, but he showed up. And Denison University in my state of Ohio is very grateful to his service, and as a neighbor from Indiana, again, I miss him and I appreciate him. Mr. President, I'm here to take a moment to pay honor to a mentor of mine who also was one of the great Ohioans, Joseph H. Head, Jr. Known for his leadership, his unwavering loyalty to his city, Cincinnati, Ohio, my hometown, for his vision and all of his contributions. He was a tireless contributor to our community. In fact, I would describe Joe as kind of a one-person chamber of commerce for greater Cincinnati. He loved his city, and he loved to help young people, and I was a beneficiary of that. I first met Joe when I was either in junior high school or just getting into high school, and I met him, and as usual, he was very direct, came up to me and asked me about my future. I had no idea what my future was going to be, but he said, "Have you ever been to a law firm?" And I said, "No, I haven't. None of my family had been lawyers. I didn't have any experience with that." And he said, "Why don't you borrow a tie from your father and come down to my law firm? What do you say to that?" So I said, "Yes, I'll do that." And I remember I was a little intimidated, but I went downtown with my tie on. It was a little bit long for me, and had an interesting visit with Joe Head. Then when I was in college, Joe Head gave me my first job in politics. It was an internship with then Congressman Bill Gradison. Joe Head had been the chairman of his efforts and suggested that I work for him. Bill Gradison was a Republican from my hometown, and 16 years later, I succeeded him in Congress. Trust me, I had no clue that I was going to do that at the time I interned for him, but that door was opened by Joe Head. I went to practice international trade law after going to law school. Again, a lot of that was because of Joe Head, being exposed to the law through him. I then came back to Cincinnati and worked in his law firm, Graydon, Head & Ritchie, where he was managing partner. And lo and behold, George H.W. Bush got elected president and asked me to come to Washington to work in the White House as associate counsel to the president. Joe Head encouraged me to do that, but he also encouraged me to come home when I was done. In fact, at the farewell party, sending me off to Washington from the law firm, there was a large card that was presented to me, and Joe Head wrote on that card, "Come home when you're done." Great advice. Maybe some of the best advice I ever took, because I did come home, went back to the law firm, became a partner in that law firm. Had not expected to run for Congress, but again, Bill Gradison resigned unexpectedly, and I ran, and Joe Head, of course, chaired my campaign. He was a guy who didn't just benefit people like me, he benefited everybody in greater Cincinnati because he was so involved throughout his life. In 2016, he and his wife, Louise, were honored with the Jake Davis Award from the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. This is a big deal. It's an annual award given to only one community-minded citizen or couple who volunteer their time and leadership skills to make greater Cincinnati a better place to live and to work. Joe certainly lived up to that. Just a couple months ago, Joe also received another big honor, and that was the highest honor of the Greater Cincinnati Chamber of Commerce, called the Great Living Cincinnatian Award. I had the honor of being there to watch him receive that award. He received it for his community service, his leadership, his lifetime of helping others in the community, all of his distinguished accomplishments. Joe also served his country. Prior to his service to our community, he served in Germany with the U.S. Army's Artillery Division for a couple of years. He also had the Midas touch in law and in business, both as the managing partner of Graydon, Head & Ritchie Law Firm and then as CEO and chairman of Atkins and Pierce Company, industrial textile business. But his active service on area boards was where he really distinguished himself. I got into the habit of just calling him chairman because he chaired everything. He chaired the Greater Cincinnati Chamber of Commerce. He chaired the Children's Home of Greater Cincinnati. He chaired the Christ Hospital Board. He chaired the Fine Arts Fund for Cincinnati. He chaired the Cincinnati Business Committee. I know I have missed a number of entities, institutions, nonprofits that he chaired. The point is, no one was a bigger booster or bigger contributor to our community. I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say we're going to miss his dedication, his humor, his wisdom, his uncanny ability to articulate and define issues. He was an impressive leader, a dear friend, and a truly great Cincinnatian. To his extraordinary wife, Louise, of 60 years, to his children, Lisa, Jeb, and Andy, and their spouses, Nirvani, Jack, and Melanie, to his grandchildren and his one great-grandchild, Jane and I send our condolences. We're thinking about you. Joe was so proud of each and every one of you. May we all endeavor to embrace Joe's extraordinary commitment to his community and carry on his profound legacy. Godspeed, Joe Head.